Welcome to the Contractors Secret Weapon Radio Podcast, the show dedicated to helping contractors, remodelers, painters, roofers, and others in the construction industry gain an unfair advantage over their competition. Get ready for some inspiration, some encouragement, some proven business building strategies, and a couple of new ideas that can take your business to the next level and beyond. And now, broadcasting from the Contractors Secret Weapon Studio, it's Pete Mitchell and Dave Negri.
Hey, this is Dave Negri with Contractor Secret Weapon, your other co-host.
And this is Pete Mitchell, your other co-host for Contractor Secret Weapon.
So this is kind of interesting. And I was just talking with Pete, and I said, he said, let's just use it for the podcast. And two things out of our program that we're putting together. But I was talking to someone the other day. Actually, it was Thanksgiving, and it was I'll just call him my other son-in-law. That'll make it easy. And we were talking, and he is a recruiter for one of the major investment firms. He makes cold calls, and it doesn't bother him. I mean, I told him if it were me, I'd have to go on welfare because I hate the phone.
I would actually rather go work at McDonald's than have to go make cold calls.
But that's why we develop marketing that has people call us, so we don't have to call people.
Right.
And so we're talking about how, what he does, and he got reversed contacted the other day, if you want to call it that. This guy's talking to him, and the guy goes, he said, I would really love to talk to you for about 30 minutes. He goes, you have called me every single month like clockwork for the last 3 years. I said, the guy turned the tables on you. He recruited you. He goes, yep, he did. He goes, listen, he says, I know what you're doing. I said, I know your payment program. And my other son-in-law's payment program is he gets a nice, decent salary, but he gets a bonus on the amount of meetings that he sets. But it resets after 90 days. So every 90 days, he has to start over again. And they took out one of the caveats in that, so that if they make if the guy signs, a year later, they get paid for that as a contact, as a
Gotcha.
But they
took a meeting.
Yeah. So this guy says, he said the biggest challenge with most investment people or most salespeople at all is they hate cold calling. He said, you got it down to pat. He said, if you make one pivotal change, he goes, you could have a book of business, and we would help you with your marketing. And I says, well, what's stopping you? He goes, well, I just want to talk to a couple of people. And I says, you're ready for it because you've been doing it for the last 4 years. He said, that one change, and he's already has his licenses.
Right. Yep.
So it's not like he has to get his license. I said it would be cool. And then I'm thinking about our program, and I'm going, dude, I said, when you get ready to start, we'll sit down and we'll put you through this program, and we'll make it work.
So he's already in the financial services industry, right?
Yeah, but he just makes cold calls to recruit other financial service agents for his company.
Gotcha.
So he doesn't sell any financial services, but he has the licenses to do.
Right.
So he's gotten those along the line, but they put him there. And I said, dude, I would switch over to the other company, because if you went to your company, I said, they're going to treat you like, we got to train you. We got to do this. He said, this guy already knows what you can do. He's going to set you off on a fast track. So they've been talking. The guy sent him I said, when's the last time the guy contacted you? He said, he sent me an application this morning. That was Thursday morning. So, but as I was, looking through I said, we can get you through this program. And so we just need to pick out who you want to contact, and find out what are, the most important things to them, and create a free report and then send them out. I said, if you just did 100 at a time, you'd get, the responses you need. And I said, in 3 or 4 years, you probably wouldn't even have to market at all, because it would be referrals for the most part.
Right.
So I just thought that was kind of interesting when I'm thinking about, hey, we can do this with any business.
Yep.
So any business listening, you can come to our intensive.
Yeah. Well, it was funny. I was telling Dave right before the show, I was talking with a mutual friend of ours, a guy who's been a good friend of mine and a mentor of mine, and Dave knows him as well. And so I showed him our little 9-step funnel, if you will, that we walk businesses through, going from, wherever you are to how to get more clients. And, what we put on is what I call our $1 million message, how to double the number of clients you have in the next 60 days without spending any more money on advertising, right? That's the $1 million message. That's what everybody wants. They want more clients. They don't want to spend more money to get it. And so he goes, well, why do you call it the Contractor Secret Weapon Solution? And I go, because that's the name of the podcast. I go, but you can put anything you want in there. I mean, it's good for any business, literally any business. Stick it in there. There you go.
Yeah.
Because it's the steps you got to run through. Everything from narrow your focus to your perfect avatar, all the way through, creating, what I call instant response ads, or what is often referred to as direct response marketing, using social media, mastering the search engines, creating great marketing pieces. I mean, these are the steps that every business has to run through. And ironically, Dave, these are the steps that they don't teach you in school. Like, they might teach you some of the bookkeeping side of things. They're going to teach
you mean like marketing school or business school stuff?
Like going to a regular school and getting a business degree. I mean, they're going to teach you, even their marketing stuff, they're teaching you about branding, like branding that they read out of a book, like literally that they read out of a book, not even that they themselves have invested their own money in to see if it worked or not. And that's because anybody who's invested money in branding knows it doesn't actually work to bring in clients. I mean, that's the reality of branding. Branding is, as we like to say, branding is for selling. It is not for buying. It's
right.
It's what people want. I like to say we are so proud of our business and our name, and rightfully so. Like, we have poured our heart and soul into our business. And so, we got a name that we love. We got a company that we love. And then someone comes along and says, hey, you need a great logo and your colors and your brand, right? And they start talking to you. Oh, you want to be like Apple. You want people to recognize you. And, this is Pete Mitchell. And you're like, yeah, that's what I want. And it's a legitimate, healthy pride. Like, we are proud of what we've accomplished.
Oh, absolutely.
And so we buy into that. Oh, yeah, if I could just communicate that to other people, then they would buy into it as well, and they would see how great it is. And the reality is no, because no one else actually cares about your company.
Right.
They only care about themselves.
Right. Pride doesn't spend money.
Right. I can't deposit my brand in the bank. I mean, I might be able to put it on a balance sheet if someone's buying my company, and let's say I've got goodwill in your brand. You can actually create that, and you can sell it as an asset. The unfortunate part, though, is you can't deposit it any other way until someone's willing to give you money for it.
And and I'll guarantee you, if you went back and researched Coca-Cola, they went door to door, business to business, taste testing to get their product sold in the very beginning. It wasn't until they had more money than brains then they started just these commercials with Coke. And it's just an awareness for their brand.
Yeah.
It's not I mean, they know you're going to buy it, but they just want to remind you that they're there.
Well, the other thing too that I always explain to people is I go, look, if you've got 100 to 200 million a year to spend on branding, then absolutely you should brand away. But you have to have that kind of money. And the other thing too that's really interesting in the immediate response advertising world or direct response marketing world, one of the things that David Ogilvy talks about in his book, Ogilvy on Advertising, which I believe was written in the 60s, he talks about how there are certain industries that direct response advertising doesn't work in.
Right.
And that's where your brand is really important. And those industries are basically, I don't even know what the word for it is, the creature comforts. It's basically liquor, cigarettes. And I would imagine because of this, the legalization that we're seeing of marijuana, I would bet that eventually marijuana will reach that realm where branding becomes an important piece for marijuana, because people, like, when you drink your beer or you drink your whiskey or you drink whatever it is, it's like, well, this is what I drink. This is my beverage. And it, like, doesn't even matter where you go. That's what they always drink. So the branding just kind of reinforces that and really is meant to be that connection. Like, you feel a connection to the brand, but it's also something that at the same time is literally changing your chemistry, right? Alcohol, smoking. Again, we don't know about marijuana, but my guess is that branding will be important to that as that industry grows. So maybe it's that combination of your chemistry is being changed internally and there's this connection to it. But outside of those industries, branding's a waste of money. The way everyone's doing it.
Well, because you're hoping, and you're hoping that everyone sees your brand, and because they see your brand, you're basically hoping that they use you.
Right. Like, they're going to be so overwhelmed. Oh my gosh! Did you see Dave's logo? That thing was awesome, man. I got to call him up and have him do a roof cleaning for me or paint my house. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
When have you ever said that about anybody you've seen? They're not saying that about your business. It's not going to happen.
No. And because, let's face it, most of the people we're talking to are dealing, one-on-one with their customers. They're not dealing in masses. Like, we know that, you're going to go to the grocery store, you're going to buy 2, get 1 free, a Coke this week.
Right. Yeah. But I know you also want to talk about the nurture system.
It was kind of funny. I was going to sit down today. I had some time because I'd basically been on vacation, since last Wednesday. And talk about, automate the nurture system and the different steps that we could use. And then I realized I was doing it for one of my customers. So that was pretty cool. And basically, it is starting off, believe it or not, with a newsletter.
Yeah.
And so this is for the title company that my wife and my daughter run. And so I get to make suggestions only when they ask.
That's the way it works.
I know. So we had talked about, marketing to, in the real estate industry, you have buyer's agents, you have seller's agents. And the seller's agents are the ones that are selling the house. And so they're and where we are, actually, in the county we live in, the seller pays for the title insurance. So they get to pick who they want. But we have another customer that comes in, which is the buyer's agent, who represents the buyer. And a lot of times, the buyer's agent will, if they like the services that are rendered, they will push sometimes their sellers their seller agents that they're doing a contract with towards who they want to use, which is nice. So we like to market to them, or we want to start marketing more to them because they're future business. The ones we have, our sellers agents do business with us all the time. We've created a good system where we keep in touch with them and we wow them. I mean, we treat them like nobody else treats them. But the goal, this year is to really pay attention to the buyer's agents more so. So I was putting together this program for the buyer's agents, and starts off with basically putting them into a newsletter, a mail newsletter. And the goal is to create the newsletter, like we talked probably a few weeks ago, about 6 sponsors that would pay for the newsletter, and the title company will send it out. They don't have to pay for anything. So that would be the 6 sponsors. So we would do the buyer's agents. We would use it for our regular, selling agents, and then probably about 900 luxury home buyers or sellers. The people that have bought houses and we've closed their deals. So the budget for that, we had talked about doing some Facebook marketing, and so we decided it would be more advantageous to do spend money on people we've got coming in the door to nurture them to come over all the time instead of just doing another form of marketing. And it really didn't matter all the time. So so I've broken it down into, here's the nurture system, day one, to contact them. Because when we get a contract in the mail, or when you get a contract for your services, they'll get a welcome in all 4 ways: email, text, and call. Or I'd slide dial it, automate it. And the subject line would be, we received your contract for whatever address, or you fill in your own words. But so Bob, just calling to welcome you to Platinum National Title and introduce our team that will be handling the South Street file that we received today. Your team members are Judy, your closer, and Beth, your processor, and we will be in constant contact with you through the whole process. And let us know which is the best way to contact you during this process. And thanks for letting us be a part of your team during this transaction. So from day one, we want them to know that we appreciate them, we appreciate their business, because the buyer's agents are coming reluctantly. Most of the time, they don't know who we are. So let's just be like a regular client. They don't know who you are. So you want to make them feel comfortable. And then I put in, thank you for letting us be a part of your team during this transaction, because they think of in teams. Who's going to help them? Who's going to be on their team? So if we can prove from the very beginning that we're going to be a team player, we're going to help them in every way we can, they might want to keep us as part of their team. So then, okay, so it would be the same thing for text. Because I wrote a script for everything. Text, so name, check your email. We just sent something over for you. Important over for you, the address file, and then welcome to Platinum National Title, then the sender's name, and then slide dial would be the same as the email, basically. So then the newsletter, we've got that, and then I'm sending them a link to what the newsletter looks like. These are, my wife and daughter, and then during the closing process, automate the touches and updates. So they already do that. So, but if you haven't created a template for touches, you can do it with with the stuff they have, they'll just send up, use Outlook, and they create email signature pages for their automation. And then, for texting, I just told them to create a folder in the phone and notes and for text templates, and they can cut and paste them and just send them out. Real simple. And then over the next 1 day after the closing, maximum 3 days, give them a call. Or no, this is text. This is with Platinum National Title. Just want to touch base and see how everything went with your closing the other day. And I would leave that as a slide dial or a text. And then text. Then the text just left you a message. How did your closing go the other day at Platinum National Title? Excellent. 1, excellent. 2, good. 3, need to improve. And quick question, what could we have done better to make your closing experience better? I figured if I put the 1, 2, and 3, it makes it easier for them to respond. Just hit 1 and text back. Most of them aren't going to respond anyways.
Right.
Then the day after the closing, or by the end of the week, a thank you card goes out with a Starbucks card. Just thanks for using us. And I just put in, spice it up a little. In Florida, it depends on where you are. Like we have dollar scratch offs for lottery.
Right.
So a lot of times I'll just send, because that's just one of those crazy things. It's something they remember that's cheap.
Yep.
So it's just simplify the system. In week 2, text them, check your email, just send over a marketing made easy from us, Platinum. Then the email subject line is marketing made easy from Platinum. And then we have we came across a website that will lead you in a direction to simplify your marketing with templates for flyers, templates for Facebook, letters, postcards, and so much more. And the best part, it's no cost to you. We pay for the service. Have you ever heard of Breakthrough Broker?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. So we have Breakthrough Broker, and it's got all of our stuff on it. So we invite other agents to come through that portal through and then we can tell who's using it and who's not. But it's great because most of the realtors have to do their own marketing. And so Breakthrough Broker is just another tool that they can use that'll make their life a lot easier because they can save stuff, they can make templates. So we just want to, share this link with you. Go check it out. Life just got easier. And then week 3, follow up from Breakthrough Broker because we can tell whether they signed up. And if they signed up, then I've got an email for them. We're glad, you took advantage of it. You're going to make sure, your marketing life easier. And we're glad we could play. Oh, I spelled that wrong. And making your life a little easier. And then if you haven't, and if they didn't, we'll just, hey, I noticed you haven't done it. So, join Breakthrough Broker so that you can make your life easier. So if you have their birthday, send them half a birthday card with a $1 lottery ticket in it. I know people say, well, why would you do that? Because it's different.
Right.
You want to be remembered. And then a 1-year anniversary.
I've seen some guys, they literally take an envelope and rip it in half and then tape it.
Yeah, I've seen that. They'll cut it. Yeah. Then a 1-year anniversary from the first closing. Send an anniversary card. Thank you for doing business, for your continued support. And then we have, through the year, we have continuing education classes that we can bring to. We have our yearly thank you, which we spend a lot of money on, but it's nothing compared to the amount of business we get from it. So we don't spend a lot of money. It's just another investment. So it can go on. And then you get 1 month, every month you get the newsletter. So what's that? In 4 weeks, you've got 4, 5, 6 touches, not including what's going on during the first 30 days of getting them ready to close on their deal.
Right.
So then it's after that. So you got the first 30 days, then you've got another 30 days after that of just touching them, which no one else is doing. I think everyone takes, that's like every business. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. Most business owners take their customers for granted. That they're just going to come and do business with them. I'm just here to take money, make money, and sell some more stuff.
Right.
But it goes way beyond that.
Right. Yeah. Well, what's funny is a couple of things here in regards to what you said. One of the questions that I get from a lot of people is, I don't know what to say in my follow-up other than, basically telling them the same offer, which isn't actually a bad follow-up strategy. I mean, it depends on your business. Sometimes it's a great follow-up. You just literally keep sending the same message over and over again until they take it.
Change the headline.
Yeah. But one of the things that I do in my business, and I encourage my clients who are in businesses where it's a longer sales cycle, which is going to be a lot of people who are contractors, right? It's a longer sales cycle for someone who's going to do a $20,000 addition or, a remodel of the bathroom or not so much on the roof cleaning. I mean, that's more of a, hey, look, I know I need to get this done, get it done.
Right.
Painting can be, right? Especially when you're charging like $5,000-6,000.
Yeah, it can be. Most of the time, from my experience, most of the time they're usually ready to go within 30 days. Yeah. But it can be up to 3-4 months. I've had people call and say, "Oh, I'm ready," and I'm going, "Ready for what?"
Right.
Yeah.
So when you're dealing with those type of industries, what I like to do for a lot of my follow-up. So again, you have to understand where your prospect is at in your sales cycle.
Right.
And that's really important because you're not going to follow up with everyone equally. You will have different follow-up for people based on how long they've been in your follow-up sequence, where they entered, I mean, all that type of stuff. And you do want to automate as much of this as possible. So one of my easy go-tos is I do what I call a mini-series event, or another guy that both Dave and I know, Russell Brunson, he calls it the soap opera sequence. And what I mean by the mini-series event is if you think about a mini-series, everything's always left at a cliffhanger, right? So you come back for the next episode, and then you come back for the next episode, and then the next one, and the next one, and finally it's over. And so I do that same thing, and I typically do it over 3 to 5 emails. Most of my sequences are 5 emails long, though they can be longer. And I will tell them my story. And I tell it to them in a very interesting fashion. And I'm going to tell it to them in a way that's going to resonate with them. Meaning, let's say you're like Dave here, who does both painting and you do roof cleaning. For me, it's probably not going to be the same 5 emails for the guy coming to me for painting as it is for the guy coming to me for roof cleaning.
No, they could be similar, just change some of the words.
Exactly. Very, very similar, but maybe the emphasis is a little bit different in one than it is in the other. And so I'll tell my story of, basically how I started out as a business owner, had to learn how to get clients through the door. So that was the whole reason I got into marketing, was I had to get clients. Finally started learning how to get clients, got so good at it. I had other business owner friends coming to me going, "Hey, can you help me with that?" And the next thing you know, I'm in love with getting clients. Like, that's my big thing. I love doing it. And that's what I started doing for other people, was just helping them get clients. And so, but I'm telling that story. And over those series of emails, I am also giving testimonials. And so, like, let's say you've got people coming to you for painting clients. Well, I might start telling painting stories and giving painting testimonials. And so that way it really resonates with people. Or someone's coming to you for a remodeling, and you start telling, like, I mean, that's the type of thing where showing and pictures are worth everything. It's kind of like weight loss pictures. You don't just show the fat picture, and you don't just show the skinny picture. You show the fat picture, and then, wow, this is now the skinny picture, right? And so that way people are like, oh, okay, well, you know what? I'm more like the fat guy and I want to be like the skinny guy. That's the transition I want. You do the same thing if you're into remodeling. You would show, okay, here's the bathroom before I got on the scene. Here's the bathroom afterwards. You know, someone wants to.
Oh yeah, it's always.
Yeah, you're doing the before and after. Think about every HGTV show where they're like, you know, doing a remodel or something like that, or, you know, fixer upper. They all at the end of the show, don't forget, here's what it looked like, and now this is how beautiful it is. And so you can work that stuff into your nurturing emails. And again, automate everything like what you're talking about, Dave, where it just automatically goes out. So someone comes into my funnel, they're going to automatically get that stuff.
Right. Day 1, day 10, day 14, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, if anybody wants one of Pete's stories, go to the website and get the 8 times your business.
Yeah. It's in the show notes. Look at the show notes, guys. You'll see how to get it.
Tell Travis has got to change the title.
What does he have the title as?
HTTPS VIP boardroom 8 times.
Oh.
Change it.
Yeah, I'll have to change it.
But just it says 8X opt-in if they haven't changed it. Tips. And Pete will send you the report, which is excellent, and some follow-up emails, so you'll know what he's talking about telling the story, and you know how we got from here to there, and which is really good. So they give you some good ideas on how to write your own.
Yep, that's the ticket right there. So what we've been focusing on in this call is automating the nurture system, which is what you want to do, and make sure you get that report, get on our email list. Dave and I are putting on a special event for a small group of people, and we're basically going to take you through all 9 of these steps that you need to have done in your business. We're going to get you done at the event, and that way you hit the ground running and are able to put more money in your pocket, which is kind of the whole reason you went into business to begin with.
I hope so.
Right?
Yeah.
It wasn't because you wanted more work. It's because you wanted more money.
Yeah. Some people just didn't want a boss, but hey, I would rather have the money.
Yeah. Well, you know, they say money's not everything, but being broke is horrible.
It is. I've been there. I've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's better to have more. But, you know, it's okay. If you're broke, you don't know any better, right?
Well, now you do. The podcast is free, so start putting the stuff into play.
And you might make some money.
Yeah. Worst case scenario, you make some money. Right?
We need to make some hats up. Worst case scenario, you might make some money.
I love it. All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in this week, and we'll be back next week with another great episode. We'll talk to you guys all then.
Have a super week.
Take care, everybody.